Let your body waddle. Body waddle.
What is going on, Crimson City? My name is Crimson CBAD. We are here with our Week 8 battle of the GBA against John, aka Pokemon, and the New Orleans Pelippers. So, before we hop into this, if you're a member of the Crimson City, thank you for your support. Be sure to show some support and love to my brother John. He is an incredible battler. He has amazing content. Go check him out, and let's talk teams really quick. So, my team, I am bringing Gothitelle, Feraligatr, Clefable, Rhyperior, Sableye, and Skarmory. We've got kind of our special defensive wall is going to be our Sableye, defensive wall is going to be Skarmory, pseudo defensive wall is kind of Rhyperior. He is choice banded max attack, but he can take a hit. Clefable has natural bulk behind it, but it's definitely more of a mixed attacker. Feraligatr is a common sub DD set, and then Gothitelle is actually expert belt, modest nature. So looking at John's team, he's got the Crocodile, he's got Sigilyph, he's got the Mega Venusaur, the Entei, Empoleon, and the Sylveon. So looking at his team, actually, you know what? Let's hop into this first. So looking at his team, I predicted the rocks because I do have just recurring damage in general is going to be good against my team because I do have bulkier mons like Clefable, like Rhyperior. I also have Skarmory. So he does actually lead off with the Empoleon. So I lead off with Victoria the Gothitelle, and I take this turn. If he's going to set up rocks turn 1, I want to set up a Calm Mind because an Expert Belt Thunderbolt on this thing is definitely going to put in some of the finest work. Pinhead goes for the Stealth Rocks as predicted, which is definitely good for me because I'm going to be able to get a lot of damage off early on this thing. And right off the bat, I don't know what he's holding. Probably leftovers. He's just going to roar me out. Probably his best play right there, just to get a little residual damage off, hopefully on something like Skarmory where it's going to take a bit more damage. But Rocky comes out. Rocky takes a little bit of damage to those. Now, I don't want to take anything this thing has to offer. I don't want to take a Scald, I don't want to take an Aqua Jet, I don't want to take God knows whatever else this thing gets against Rhyperior. So I'm going to switch out, I'm going to go into Zetterberg. Zetterberg's going to be my best bet to take something this thing wants to do for me, and it's also going to be my turn to be able to get a rock. So he goes for the Scald on Zetterberg. Got that 30% chance to burn, gets that 30% chance to burn. So it is what it is. Any offensive potential that Zetterberg had is just completely nerfed. So now I have pretty much an identical set to him. I've got Stealth Rocks, I've got Whirlwind, and I've got Roost. So, burn damage comes off in both of us. We do see the lefties on the Empoleon. So, I'm going to go for my Stealth Rocks right now, because he does have things like Pokemon, or Pokemante is the name of his Entei. He does have things like Entei. If the Sigilyph is Magic Guard, that won't be affected, but if it's not Magic Guard, we'll be able to get some damage off on that thing. The Scald takes out the Skarmory, so it's an early 6-5 in the favor of John. Leftovers recovery on the Empoleon. We're going to bring him right up a little bit above half. I'm going to go back out to Victoria here. I'm going to keep this thing in for as long as I can. Do as much damage on this thing as I possibly can. So I'm just going to go for a T-Bolt here. See how much damage I can do. We're not +1 anymore, but an Expert Belt Thunderbolt still almost takes that thing out, which is awesome. But he's still going to keep getting that Roar residual damage off on our team. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because he roars us out into Kirby. Probably the best thing he could have roared us out into. We are Life Orb Magic Guard. So now, whether he wanted to preserve this thing, whether he wanted to switch out, the safest play in my mind is going to be to go for a knockoff. If he switches into something, we do get a knockoff on something aside from the Mega Venusaur. But we do take that out early on. So he brings in his Pokemante, and he is going to take 25% to rocks. Looking at his team, he did not have a viable Defogger. Maybe in the Sigilyph, if it gets that. The Empoleon might have carried that, but the Empoleon's gone, so I don't want to take an Iron Head from this thing. I'm going to switch right back out into Rocky. I'm going to risk that Sacred Fire 50% chance to burn, which would completely nerf our offensive capabilities. And he's going to go for the Iron Head as predicted. Good news for us. We're going to take a... it does okay. It does okay. That shows me it's not choice banded anyway. So he's going to switch out. And here's where I freak out. He switches into War Inside the Mega Venusaur. I honestly have nothing to take on this thing except for Gothitelle. Gets the rocks damage. Rocky goes for that choice banded Stone Edge. Let's go! Let's go! We knock out that Venusaur with the crit. That crit did matter, and I apologize to him after the fact, but I was so hyped that we knocked that thing out early on. So now he goes into DP Jones. I don't know if this thing wants to Psycho Shift, a Flame Orb to me. I don't know if it has Energy Ball. I don't know what. So I'm going to go out in a Riff, our special defensive Sableye. this part is my fault, and many people will point out in the comment section, you know, you should have scouted, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have done this. I know what I should have done. Hindsight's 20/20. Thank you, sir. I go for a taunt here in case this thing wants to start setting up. The common set I'm familiar with is like a Calm Mind's stored power set on Sigilif. This thing gets Dazzling Gleam. Goodbye, Sableye. So this is gonna be, I believe now we're at 4-4 overall. I'm gonna go back down to Victoria. We do have that Expert Belt Thunderbolt. Rock's damage comes off on us. I'm sure this thing carries the Shadow Ball, as it does. He's going to get a fair amount of damage off. Thank God Victoria has a little bit of bulk behind her, so she can take that Shadow Ball. The special defense drop does come through. We're going to get this Expert Belt Thunderbolt off on DP Jones, and it lives on so little. And I don't know if he predicted a switch here or not. His safest play was to go for an Energy Ball in case I wanted to switch into something else to take the hit. Takes out Victoria. So now the taunt wears off. I'm going to go back out into Kirby. Pretty sure this thing doesn't have anything he wants to do, so I'm just going to go again here. Whatever he's got coming in, he actually goes out into the putt, which is going to be his Sylveon. And I actually just want to take a turn here to go for a knockoff, because again, if you went into Crocodile, if you went into Entei, if you went into anything else, if he stayed in, it would have taken it out. So we do knock the leftovers off the Sylveon that nerfs all of its recovery options, save, protect, wish. So he's going to start setting up Calm Minds. Now, in my mind, I've got two ways of dealing with this. I can either go super hyper offensive with something else and try and take it out, or I can cripple it as fast as I can. Go for the T-Wave with the Clefable. I'm going to be able to outspeed this thing now, obviously, and I'm just going to be able to start firing off Moonblast. Firing off Moonblast, I want to take out any potential he has to get that special attack increase from the Calm Mind. So we get the special attack drop of the Moonblast. The Puzz is fully paralyzed. It cannot set up another Calm Mind. So here I'm just going to go for another Moonblast. I'm going to keep trying to nerf this thing's special attack, because if the special defense keeps increasing, I can keep whittling that away. I can't take a max special attack hit. So with the amount of HP the Sylveon has left, actually, I ran a calc. If I got anywhere near a max roll, I was going to take this thing out. I do actually get close to a max roll. If not a max roll, we'll never know. But I do take out the Sylveon with the Clefable, so he goes back out into Pokemon Save. And here I think to myself, he's probably predicting me to switch into the Rhyperior. He's going to go for a Sacred Fire, get that burn, nerf that Choice Band offense. So I'm going to stay in at this point with my Clefable. Goes for that Sacred Fire. Hits me with that Sacred Fire. That does a lot of damage, but I'm going to go for a Thunder Wave here, so now the only thing this thing can hit me with is an Extreme Speed. Before I can get a knockoff, I can get a Moonblast off on this thing. I do want to knock off this thing's Assault Vest, though. So I'm going to be able to take that off. That brings him down 30-ish, 35%. He goes for the Iron Head. Kirby's going to go down. Kirby has put in some of the finest work today, so thank you so much, Kirby, for your contributions to the team. I'm going to go out into Kamina now. This thing's paralyzed, so in my mind, it's time to set up. It's time. He goes for the Extreme Speed. That's going to do a fair amount of damage to good old Kamina here. Brings us down to a little above half. We're going to be able to set up that nice +1/+1. In my mind, hindsight's 20/20. Dragon Dance Aqua Jet would have been more effective, or Swords Dance Aqua Jet would have been more effective, but he is fully paralyzed on the E-Speed. I go for the Waterfall. Pokemon is going to go down. So now he's got Sigilif and he's got Crocodile. And I have coverage for both of those, and the Sigilif isn't even that alive. So, goes out into Ray Lewis, the Crocodile, and here's where I'm like, yes, it's coming in, it's time. He doesn't have the Intimidate. He's Choice Scarfed. And there goes my sweep. And he's Moxie Boosted. And after the fact, I did look into the calcs on this. He's Choice Scarfed, he's Moxie Boosted. If he was a Jolly Scarfer, this Moxie boost did matter a little bit. Depending on the roll he got on this Earthquake, the Moxie boost did matter to where we could have brought it down to a 1-0 because the Sigilif would have outspeeded. But if he was an Adamant Scarf, it did not matter at all. So, John, that was a crazy good battle. Thank you so much for just being an awesome competitor in this league. And I am definitely looking forward to our battle on Week 10. Guys, if you have enjoyed, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the city, hit that subscribe button, because next week we are going up against Gym Leader Geo and the San Francisco Giants. So all that being said, guys, my name's Crimson CBAD, and I will talk to you all soon. Later.